What's up, everybody? I am your host here at Ring Theory on the Nefarious Media Network. This is episode 3. This is Juneteenth. This is the Juneteenth Jamboree. And so we got to celebrate with my man Jey Lacey over here. We got to celebrate some Black talents out there. And so for myself, this month, I want to highlight definitely LeBron Calzone, who has been doing his thing in DPW with the national belt. I hope to see him on a bigger stage. He made me a fan of his, the way he controls the crowd. And, you know, MC means move the crowd. And so he's definitely one to be on the rise. He's in my age bracket too, at the age of 32. So, man, I love to see that out the brother, and I hope to see him doing bigger and better. But, Jay, how you doing today on this Juneteenth?
Man, I am blessed, bro. I am happy to be here. Happy to be back with number 3, episode 3. We're doing it big. And again, on Juneteenth, we gotta represent and shout out to, I want to shout out to one of the brothers that got me involved in professional wrestling, and that is the late great Bad News Brown, also known as Bad News Allen. That dude right there, when I was, a youngster growing up, watching him, on a WWF show. First of all, there weren't too many people of color, on the screen besides like a Junkyard Dog or Coco Beware. But that dude right there was like, he had the black glove on, the fingerless glove, which I thought was really cool. And then his finishing move was called the Ghetto Blaster. And for those that are not familiar with that, what he did was he beat you down real nice and easy, picked you up, patted you on your back, and proceeded to kick you in the back of the head, and then got you for the 1, 2, 3. And that to me was like, again, growing up as a kid where everyone loved Hulkamania, I always gravitated to the dark side, to the bad guys. It's like, okay, this dude was cool. First of all, the Ghetto Blaster, that's a heck of a name for a finisher. And just to see him do work like that, man, shout out to him. Rest in peace to him. And then it was like later on in life, I found out he was Canadian too. So shout out to our Canadian brothers out there too. So
I didn't know that about Bad News Brown. So that's a crazy fact, man. We definitely have to hear a little bit more about that later on, because I did not know about that. So yeah, more about your story. So, but no, today, and I know we had talked about on if you tuned into the NWA podcast on Post Wrestling, you might have heard us talking about us having a special guest. And so special guest has just been delayed. And so the show rolls on. And because the show rolls on, we are rolling on to the drive for 500. That means here at the Nefarious Media Network, we are looking for either on our Patreon or on our YouTube channel, 500 subscribers. Us reach that goal, and that allows us to be able to do a little more here on production side, to be able to bring in other different guests, and also to be able to support folks here at the network. And so please support us on that drive to 500, whether you're subscribing to YouTube. That's a free thing that allows us to then reach 1,000 and get that monetization and change the game and change the experience here at the Nefarious Media Network. We are all pushing this vehicle forward for the drive for 500. So hop in. We got space in the back. This ain't no Honda Civic, but we are gas efficient. Come on and jump on the ride. $5. Hey, as the Godfather, Nate Milton, will say, you can't get a biggie bag for that price no more. So $5 gives you extra content. It gives you open access to our Patreon with a plethora of shows, the SBF. It gives you Ring Theory. It gives you the Parlay, where we chat about a little bit of everything. We make sure to feed the ducks when we get there as well. We also talk about the Kings of Sport, the OG, the classic that has began everything with Brother Nate Milton and the Professor Chris Ely. They have brought Jey Lacey and myself on to the network, and it's been a great opportunity to grow alongside these brothers. So, hey, help us grow as well by subscribing onto the network. But with that being said, Jay, I got a little theory cooking up, man. And this is Ring Theory, is it not?
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, indeed.
So, with that being said, man, I think we got a transitional champion inside the WWE. And bear with me. And just, we already in the car. So just, I got the lo-fi in the background. So just ride with me. I think Gunther is a transitional champion. I think we focus so hard on Jey Uso and the loss and everything that we're all focused on his impact. Oh, his father is tripping. Oh, he won't get the world title again. That was it, and that's how he lost too. Oh, Kofi had a better run in the end, but he lost it. Jey lost it better than Kofi. Scrap all that. Scrap all that, because we've known for a while, since October of last year, that Gunther and Goldberg were going to face each other. I never thought it was going to be for the world title. Now, with it coming up at Saturday night's main event in Atlanta, I could easily see Goldberg, somebody who, if you look at back a lot of this man's previous matches, he has had world title after world title after world title shot. Period. Undeserving against Drew McIntyre, undeserving against The Fiend, undeserving against a plethora of folks in the past. Who's to say he wasn't going to go out at least with one more world title match in this run? I don't think it's just one match. I think it's at least two. I know those knees might not have, he was wobbling down to the ring after that kick, but like, I think he got two in him. And I think we have the Atlanta show, which is going to be an L, because WWE loves to beat you in your hometown. And that's for the world title. And if we were to have Jey Uso in this position, it could lead to some conflict and babyface reactions. It's Atlanta. Maybe people go for Jey. Maybe people boo Jey. And we don't want that presentation of Jey getting booed on the screen. We also don't want Goldberg getting booed because Jey might be a better or a bigger babyface to the crowd than even their hometown person. So why put Goldberg in that position? So now you put Gunther in that spot, somebody who, now if you look at all his title reigns in the whole of WWE, 800 days, down to 600 days, down to under a year. Now his next title reign is going to be even shorter than that. There's a story there for Gunther brewing in the background for him to be this transitional champion, but also it protects Jey, it protects Goldberg, and it helps us then move to the next part. And this only puts it in the nail a little bit further for me because of this past Monday, because Jey rewrote history. This man said, "We are 1-1. That is a lie, my guy. You faced him for the title and lost. You faced him in the King of the Ring tournament last year and lost. And that could have been a part of the story of, hey, he stopped me in the semifinals last year. I will not be stopped again." He lost 3 times. Saturday night's main event for the world title. He beat him at Mania, and then he lost again on Raw. There's 4 losses in there and 1 win. He's rewriting history, and I think he's rewriting history because he's going to win that world title again at SummerSlam, only for Seth to cash in. But what do you think about that, Jay?
You had me at transitional champion. I really think that Goldberg, I don't want to see this happen, but if it does happen, if Goldberg does happen to win the title, I think Seth is cashing in on Goldberg. I'd much rather see that happen than have Jey get another title reign at this point, and simply because I'm trying to fast track the storyline that Seth Rollins and the story that he's telling. And I think in order to do that, you got to put some gold in that stable that's yet to be named. So I think if you put Seth in the driver's seat and running Monday Night Raw, just like he's been saying he's going to do, and I think this is the prime opportunity for him to go ahead and do that while Gunther is distracted with ending Jey Uso's reign and getting into this new Goldberg feud. I think it would be good for Goldberg to get the W, because it's going to prove that Gunther, like you said, to his title reigns, that might put a chink in his armor, his mystique, if you will. And why did I say that like Dusty Rhodes? Anyway, put that chink in his armor, the mystique, and that'd be a prime opportunity for Rollins to cash in on we already know he was walking a little gingerly, didn't look like Goldberg of 10 years ago, maybe even 10 months ago to that. But still, I think that'd be the most nefarious thing for Rollins to do, hey, everyone's happy and excited about Goldberg winning, only to have the true heel Seth Rollins come in, cash in, steal the championship from him, and that will give Jey Uso a chance to say, hey, look, I never got my rematch. That was in my clause. Gunther has a legit gripe. Hey, I just lost I gotta get a rematch as well. And also maybe Goldberg, depending on his health and what his contract says, is he going to only do one match and have that be it? Or are we going to have the 2 matches, possibly 3, because 2 in one night with the cash in, that might be something to look at as well. So that's what I think may happen going forward. I don't think we're going to get a 4-way dance at SummerSlam or anywhere close to it, but I think we could have a 3-way match, and that would be the way to do it.
I agree with you on the 3-way match. I just think we don't get that until Clash at Paris, because I think that 3-way match is Jey Uso's last dance in the world title scene for a while, because it takes you back to where it all began with that big entrance where everybody said, hey, Jey might be really over it. And that was in a world heavyweight title match in France. Well, in Paris.
We'll retcon it. I mean, he's 1-1, so why couldn't it have been Paris the first time? They can change history. We got freelance abilities as well too.
I like it. But that might spoil what we're moving on to in the next topic, in the next discussion. The King and Queen tournament, King of the Ring tournaments that are happening and leading up to Night of Champions this year in 2025. And so I've already kind of spoiled my men's pick. And I'm saying that Jey Uso will be the person that wins. And I think, in my opinion, when we're going to talk about this for for the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring of the tournament, we're only going to talk about our winners. And we're going to also talk about what we think are the most important or the biggest matches that they will have on their rise to that win. And so with that being said, I think Jay's biggest win is coming over Sammy, because I think something weird is going to happen with Rhodes. I don't think it's going to be as clean as it can be for Rhodes. I think Cena's going to kind of get involved with that. And so a little schmozzy there, but I think he gets it over Sammy in the end. And I think it's the discussion of Jey doing whatever it takes and going past his brothers to get back to that world title, his metaphorical brothers from another mother. I think the story for Sammy is getting to Night of Champions, losing, and saying, oh, I have to redeem myself in Saudi Arabia at the Rumble now. And also, I think Karrion Kross says, hey, you couldn't even do enough to get past. You weren't willing to use that killer instinct to get past your bro, Jey Uso. And now look, he's going to SummerSlam for a world heavyweight title shot to be a champion again. And look at what you're doing. Nothing again. I think we're doing the slow tease for Sammy. But I really think this is Jay's path. And so, but that's my guy, and that's my biggest little road there. Is I think him and Sammy in Saudi Arabia, they have not had a singles match, I think, in a very long time. And so like it's gonna be a very emotional match and story charged match between the two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have them two in my final as well too, but I have Sami Zayn actually winning. I have Sami Zayn actually winning that, and here's the reason why. WWE always has this thing of when they go overseas, the whole home team, you know how in the United States, home person always loses. I think it's Bizarro land overseas. Once you cross the Atlantic, the rules change a little bit, you know? So I think that they're going to send those people home happy that are cheering for Sammy, and they want to see someone like him win. And I think he would be a good, but I think he's going to turn heel in doing so, meaning that he's going to either grab tights, he's going to have to get one over just to prove Karrion Kross right. Because I think Karrion Kross is starting to wear into him a little bit. And I think he's going to creep over into the dark side just a little bit just to get a taste, because Jey Uso's already had he's already had a bite at the apple. He already knows what it is to win a chip. Sammy doesn't have that yet. Sammy wants that. So I think, his best friend Kevin Owens has already done it. His his other Uzi has had has had that success, but he hasn't. He's been associated and been around it, but for himself, he hasn't tasted that. So I think he's going to go ahead and cash that in and become King of the Ring. And I think that's going to be a pivotal moment for him and his story, and going forward with this. So it's an exciting time. I think they're doing so much right in the WWE with the major stories that are being told, or they have the potential to keep the momentum going. And I don't want to get my hopes up too much for that because I've been brokenhearted before, but I think they have the potential to make Sammy's dreams come true on this one. That's what I'm riding with.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm predicting Jey because of the story. I'm not predicting Jey because that's what I want. I want Sammy. I've wanted Sammy to have that World Heavyweight Championship for a while now. It's high time it happens. I get nervous for him going heel again because I don't know if the fans are going to come back as hard on the lovable side for him. And like you could write it that way. You can definitely write it that way. And maybe a flirting with it. Because if Sammy wins it, he cheats to win it, but he's got that pit in his gut about it. I can see the whole distraction to SummerSlam being, "Yo, Jey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it like that, dog." Like, and him trying to get in Jey's good graces to the point that it cost him his match at SummerSlam, or it just blindsides him to maybe he wins against Gunther. But now here comes Seth. And your friends are not here because you've upset your friends, that nobody's having your back. And when you get jumped, can't call your cousin now. You did them wrong at the cookout, so they not coming this time. So I like it, man. I won't be mad if either way we go. If it goes either way, I'll only be happy because I'll be right on my side. I don't know if I'll be as enriched and happy story-wise, but I want to see something for Sammy. I want to see Sammy do big things, man. I'm tired. He missed Mania. Come on, man.
Yeah. And you know what, going to your point too, I can see Sammy, like I said, if he wins and he does some, he just grabs the tights or something like that, foot on the rope or whatever, ref doesn't see something and Sammy wins by luck or by fluke, if you want to call it that. And going into what you're saying, I can see Sammy leaning into a bit of the gray area rather than going all the way to the dark side. I could see him getting reactions like how Seth Rollins is, people are still singing along with him. They're not completely booing him out the building, but I see him leaning more towards that darker side, giving him a little bit more of an edge and being taken a little bit more seriously than what he is right now, rather than the happy-go-lucky Sammy. Yo, I'm happy to be here. I'm going to fight. I'm with the people, blah, blah, blah. I could see him giving into that darker edge, like what Karrion Kross is trying to get him to tap into. And finally he's saying, you know what? You might be right. You might be on to something. So that's what I would hope that, with this storytelling that they're trying to convey to us.
Karrion is Sammy's McFoley. And the way McFoley has given Randy an edge, an edge, Triple H an edge, Shawn Michaels an edge in your house. I mean, Undertaker had an edge, but to improve him and rebuff him up and change up the game for the Undertaker, I think that's what we're getting at out of Sammy. And I mean, Sammy as a goof character has needed that. I think that's what we're doing with Chad Gable, where we had to do the long build to getting him back to where he is. Same with LA Knight. LA Knight was a talent agent at one point. We had to take the long road to build him back up as serious. And so I like Karrion being in that role for Sammy. So when you frame it like that, and I hope Karrion gets his shine too. I know the Karrion train is out there, man. So I want to give him his shine too. So he can get his time in the spotlight, if you will.
Yes, sir.
But since we channeling Dusty today.
Yes, sir. It is.
Him and his son, Devontae. But with that said, who do we have for the Queen of the Ring? And I mean, if you heard the NWA, You already know who I'm rocking with. But I break it down to y'all. I got Jade. And I think Jade's most interesting match on the way there, because she's facing Roxanne Perez next. I think Roxanne's out of there. I think her most interesting match will be the finals. And I think it's going to be against Asuka.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
I think you once Asuka got past Vaquer, I had Vaquer initially going to the finals and losing, because you don't put her in a tournament like this and bounce her out at the beginning. But I guess you bounce her out that way to protect her, so that way she's in that fatal 4-way. Cool and all. Asuka's going to the finals. Asuka versus Jade, her against the Giant. I've seen Asuka pull a great match out of NXT Nia Jax back in the day. All hail the Queen. Before Brother Day come out my wall and attack me and throw me in a chokehold. I ain't trying to see that. I'm smooth. I'm good. But she brought a great match out of her back in the day. And so people are worried about, can Jade still go in the ring? I think a finals of those two in the ring and then Jade beating her to go to SummerSlam to face Tiffany Stratton, I think would be the great way to go.
I'm not mad at that, because I have the exact same final as you. And it got a little easier to pick that too with the unfortunate injury to Liv Morgan. You know, now that Roxanne is somewhat tied to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So I think that story now needs her to fill that void that Liv Morgan is going to be, unfortunately, leaving behind. So, and I think Jade Cargill is going to win as well too. I have her winning against Asuka as well too. Asuka, I wouldn't be upset either way if Asuka were to win, but I think the story that you're going to tell in general needs a Jade Cargill, and that goes to the Bianca and Naomi storyline as well too. So all three of them, I think that's going to be the story that's being told. Asuka, I love her. I loved her for years. Talented performer, amazing performer. I think that match is going to be one of those ones that's like underestimated. That's going to be a slept-on match. But I think Jade walks away with the win, and she's going to walk away with the Queen of the Ring title.
I think her in that crown is going to be a spectacular image. I think both of them would look good with the crown, but I don't know. I just don't think this is Asuka's lane at this current time period. I think Asuka could easily float over and support Kyrie with the Roxanne Roxanne Perez Raquel feud over with the Judgment Day. So
I see that as well, and I think that if she does lose, then I think they're going to reform that tag team, and they're going to have again another tag team tournament, and I think that her and Kyrie are going to reform, and I think they're going to capture those titles. I think they make a great team anyway. You know, they complement each other well. Their moveset is very complementary and very complementary of each other, and I think that would be the way to go.
I agree. So with that tournament wrapped up, that now takes us, we're going to take a pause on WWE. We're going to take a bathroom break, if you will. And I'm not calling AEW the bathroom break. It's just the way I have it formatted on my run sheet, folks. So, but with All In on the horizon, and take it from me, I'm hyped for All In. I'm going to be live in attendance for it, and I'm not only geeked for the matches, I'm geeked for the weekend around it, because it's like AEW building their own WrestleMania weekend, but centered around indie talent. There's going to be a Hog show that I'm going to try to hit up. There's going to be the Super Card of Honor that I'm hoping and praying that if we can go down this path, just give Kyle Fletcher the Ring of Honor World Championship. Let him do that and let him rule that roost, and that way he can have that. Takeshita can then look at Kenny after he gets done with Okada. Spoiler alert, Kenny beat Okada. That's just what it is, folks. It is what it is. But with that being said, there's somebody with an O currently. Her name is Mercedes Moné. 6 belts Moné, 5 belts Moné, whichever the range is, 5 to 6 belts Moné. She's looking to gather another one in the AEW Women's World Championship off of the 4-time reigning Women's World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm. Does Timeless survive this match and keep that belt? Or is this the end of her 4th reign? What you rocking with, Jay?
The belt collector's collecting another belt. I have her walking out of there as your new women's title holder, as well as the TBS championship holder. She's just going to collect them belts. She's going to have to forfeit one, or I don't see her losing anytime soon. And I think the way they're telling this story is that, yeah, she's going from, if you look at it from promotion to promotion, world to world, collecting these titles. And she's a good representation of women's wrestling right now. And I think that she's going to be holding that banner, and she's showing all the brass at WWE that allowed her to walk away. Look, you had me. You didn't respect me. You didn't appreciate what you had. Now I'm going to rival promotions, and I'm going to represent women's wrestling, not women's sports entertainment. I'm the best to do it today, and I'm going to prove it in every territory I step foot in. And this is going to be no different over here. And I think I'm not sure how long she's going to hold that title or how long she's going to hold any of these titles. I just don't see her walking out not AEW Women's Champion. What say you?
I would love for Toni in some way, shape, or form to. There's a part of me that wants her to win because I don't think she wins the belt for a long time after this. I think these 4th title reign people, their 4th title reigns should be their 4th title reign. Like, they should not touch the world title for at least another 3 to 4 years. Genuinely. And let others just, you can challenge for it, but you're going to lose for that belt. And that's Toni and that's Mox, both. Toni is peaking right now. Maybe let Toni have it in like a year and a half, 2 years max. Mox need 4 years off. For sure, 4 years off. Homie had that interim run, which is not counted in his 4. So that's technically 5. Homie need a break. Pause for the cause. But yes, I'm going to lean Moné. I think Moné gets it. I'm beating around the bush. I think Moné gets it. I think it's inevitable. I think it's just, you don't keep her undefeated. You don't not take the TBS title off of her going into this match. You're building your own Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan clash. And for everything of those 2 individuals' personal lives, that's the spectacle that AEW is trying to build amongst their women's division and have not had that up to this point. And so to be able to build that and to be able to then, the only thing I didn't like is don't do that. Oh, this is the greatest match moniker. Just have the greatest match.
Yeah.
When you build up all that hype behind, like there's going to be hype, but when you build up that extra stuff behind it, I don't think I ever heard that out of that Daniel Bryan Will Ospreay match. And I drove 8 hours to St. Louis to watch that live, and that was a spectacle. And to me, the best match I've ever seen live. And none of that was required. Hey, we got this dog, and we got this dog, and we're going to let them loose. See what happens. Well, now you got this dog of a bloke in Timeless, and you got this dog in the CEO. What's about to happen when they collide? Moné going to take that belt. And that leads me to my bigger question now. Who then takes her O in the eventual future?
I got my thoughts on that. I think we're setting back up for oh my gosh, her name just escaped, her WWE name just came in my head, but oh my gosh. Oh man, the internet's gonna kill me for this one. Oh man, I'm oh my
Ruby
God.
Soho?
No. I was thinking Ember Moon, but I can't remember her name over here.
Athena.
Athena, yes. Yes, I don't know why Ember Moon just popped in my head, but I could see her. And anyway, forgive me on that one. So, yeah, I see that rematch coming back up because it was, a faulty finish. It was a crooked finish, and they put on a good match. I mean, the first time, I'm actually surprised that they put it on free TV. But I do see her, building up her resume to take one of the belts off her, whether it's the TBS title. Maybe it's the world title if they give her enough time to, cook in the women's division. But I think Athena has the streets to talk, and they want that, and I think that's the match that we want, but it has to have the proper build up to, to feed the streets, just to give us what we're anticipating and wanting for. So I think down the line, maybe it's All Out that we get that match. What do you think?
Okay. I would love to see Athena, but I'm a bite off of your Athena. But what we must do is we must just stand up.
Okay.
Because this is the name of the game, homie. This is the name of the game right here. We going Willow Nightingale, and I'm gonna bite it like this. There's probably gonna be a women's tournament in the future, and I think your finals, she gonna have to get past her home girl. She gonna once they rekindle their connection, her and Jamie Statlander. Thank you. She'll get past Statlander. She gonna then the finals is gonna be Athena, and the reason why it's gonna be Athena is because Athena defeated her 3 times in ROH, once on TV and 2 for the belt. She gonna pass that little last hurdle she has to get past, and then she has only faced Mercedes 1 time back in the day, and she is going to be the one to say, "Hey, I should have stopped you. I should have pushed my friend aside who literally got in my way with Stokely. I should have been more locked in and just took you out at Double or Nothing 2 years ago. It's my time." Or a year ago, I'm in all this belt collector. I'm about to bankrupt you, CEO, and so that's Willow Nightingale, y'all. I'm going with Willow. I'm a Willow fan. Always have been, always will be. And to me, you don't put Shawty in the Anarchy in the Arena match to have that kind of press amongst the men and everybody else. The same way you did a Rhea Ripley, you're trying to build a homegrown star. It's Willow's time. She's been hiding under the spotlight. Like nowhere near. It's her time now. Dead center. Promote this girl. Make her your world champion. Give all this momentum that she Monet has created with all these wins to a homegrown star. You could say Statlander. Great story and all, but Statlander's had her piece in playing Mercedes' role of getting those belts in the beginning. Like I said, it ain't her time. Athena, I like Athena, but she got that belt. She got the ROH World Women's title. Like in due time. But I definitely think that world title's going. I don't know if they ripped the TBS title off of her, like off of Monet, and then do it that way. And somehow Willow gonna get there. And I think it's her time to get that world title. I think she bypasses the TBS. I think they do the Jey Uso where Jey got the IC for a second and then jumped on. I think she don't need the TBS again. I think it's world title time for her. But what do you think about that?
I like that. And one thing that you didn't hit on is they do have chemistry and they do have history together. She was a part of the match where Mercedes got injured, with an ankle. So you can go back and recall that story as well, too. Like, look, I already beat you. She could say that. She could play that card. And, I think that, as much, gas they put behind Willow, I think you onto something with that. That there is a story to be told with that. The fans are definitely behind her. She is very deserving of an opportunity to run with it. I think that they're going to have to take some time to tell that story, to build equity in both. Not that Mercedes needs it, but I think to put more stock into Willow becoming that believable contender for the championship. So I'm not mad at that.
Here's the thing. I like Athena. I want Athena off of ROH.
100%.
Or treat her like everybody else. I think everybody talks about this point, but why is she the one? on Juneteenth, why is she the one out of all the other champions? Bandito everywhere. He in Mexico City. He cutting promos that people booing him for. That's not getting babyface reactions because they stealing talent in the promo. He over here. It's Bandito's doing his thing. But why can't Athena as well? Sammy Guevaro's just smiling on camera while Dustin's cutting promos on promos and getting pay-per-view matches. Where my girl Athena at? Why she only getting a TV match every blue moon and then she gets sent back to the island? Like, what is this? Free Athena till it's back.
Free Athena.
Till it's backwards.
Free Athena. We need to make a chop tease. Look us up with that Free Athena show.
Definitely free Athena. But next month we're gonna do a bigger dive about All In, just talking about my live perspective going there, also the at home perspective for folks and some of the results and how we just feel about, is Jon Moxley still the world champion? Did he walk away with that belt? I hope not. And with that, I move on to the main event, which is probably going to hopefully main event because that means good things. Does Jon leave with that belt? Or does Hangman, Mr. Duolingo, Mr. I know how to speak Spanish, he said, I'm well versed. I know what I'm doing. Hey, big ups to him because I was like, that's a man. He cut the first sentence. Oh, cool. Here we go. He kept going. I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know you know. I didn't know you know. But does he make it? To me, especially when you got your contender over here cutting whole promos like that. If this man Hangman loses, I think I might trip a little bit harder. I'm going with Hangman in Texas, man. I think I might be even sicker because, like, how can you deny this man? One man is just changing between a white and a green tee or a black tee. He only got 3 tees. Well, we got Mox not winning. That'd be the dumbest decision ever. A jet black suit. You are absolutely correct, man.
You ain't told a lie.
The dumbest decision, man. But I hear it. I get why, because everybody thinks it's the Mountain Man. We love the Mountain Man, and he gonna skateboard his way off the top of the mountain with a coffin drop right down into Moxley to defeat him for that title. I get how it fits the story, but it is not timed. He can do it through the C2E2. I know that's not the name of the tournament. It's the C2 tournament. But whichever way he need to go, Darby's story is next year. Build him up for All In next year. Let's give him a pause for the cause. Let's focus on what we are building and brewing, because I think we are building up in the same way that Tony Storm has like transcended off of this 4th title reign in the Hollywood ending story. I think this could really make Hangman that next level talent. Like, I think for him to have the intro Hangman story of my confidence, I need to get to the world title, and now for his second one to have such a roller coaster of villainous actions, turning heel, going left, right, and center, taking out his friends to the redemption, to winning a tournament, the Owen Hart, to then going to the biggest show of the year to win. That's just making him such a bigger star. Why poop on that when you have to, man? But what are you saying when it comes to Mox? Is he walking away with it, Jay? Am I going to be a madman?
No, I think you're going to walk out the event very, very happy with a great show. And I think Mox is losing. And I think Hangman's star just got a little bit brighter, especially after last night when he started speaking Spanish, cutting that promo. And you got you got commentary trying to keep up with him and couldn't do it. And me, I'm trying to learn Spanish and like picking up a couple words here and there. Like, oh, okay, that's right. Okay, cool. I think he's won a fan base over that already liked him. Now they're going to start loving him because he spoke authentically to that audience. And going into Texas, mostly a Hispanic area, I think that, they're going to be rooting hard for that cowboy. And I think he's going to walk out with it's going back to the storytelling, that they're telling, and everything you highlighted is a unique story that AEW is crafting. you know, the redemption of the Hangman, the redemption of the Cowboy. You know, he lost his way a little bit and slowly started to find his way. And he's got friends who are, I wouldn't say friends, but people that are aligning with him to basically, you know, help him succeed in that mission. And I really think we're going to see a lot of plunder in that match. But if we do see Darby, he's going to help Hangman secure the bag. And by that, there's no belt to be shown. So he's taking the bag, and then he's going to get the new belt, and he's walking out of there, your AEW two-time World Heavyweight Champion.
And I'm glad you said the new belt point, because I brought that up on the NWA podcast.
I got
that briefcase whole gimmick, man. I do believe we are leading towards a new belt out of this. But I love what you said. I love the Avengers style. Oh, I ain't forget you. You threw me down the steps. I'm back. I'm back, mug, and I'm back to get that in blood. So give me that. So I like that when it comes to the whole story. So now I'm highly excited for All In. AEW has just been on this build. It has felt like, especially month after month. Yes, I think Dynasty was a little low point, but I think that's the lowest point they've had since. I think they've been kind of climbing up since Dynasty. And I think people were just upset, myself included, about that main event. But hey, as Roman and his story played out for as long as it did, and people, we like to look at history with rose-colored glasses and say, oh, what did I make? Go back and listen to some of them podcasts. Go back and just read some of them comment sections. People were tripping and not having a good time the whole time with Roman's reign. But in the end, it paid off for a great thing for Cody that sent him to the next level. We might be getting that same experience here. We just have to hope, just like in Shark Tales, they just don't trip over nothing at the finish line. Come on now. But that moves us now to the main event, and we are going to talk about SummerSlam and what we think are going to be the big 5 matches of SummerSlam. Just like that drive to 500. So if you have not, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Nefarious Media Patreon, because that's what we about here, the drive to 500. But also, we looking for 5 matches for the main event. And so with that being said, 5 matches around SummerSlam that gives us the women's world, the women's WWE, the men's WWE, the men's world, and then one just big match for SummerSlam that usually is featured around there. And so, how would you like to go about this, Jay? Would you like me to go first, or you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll let you go first, and I'll bounce off of you, and we'll just go from there. So, who you got first for your first match?
So we'll go belt by belt then.
Okay.
How about that? We'll go men's WWE, and for that, I have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena versus R-Truth.
Okay.
That's all. Cody does not need to win King of the Ring. He beat John at Money in the Bank. That win will give him that. Tomorrow, we use our hand for our map. Michigan, on this side of Grand Rapids. I'm currently over here. Just a 2-hour drive. They will be facing, and R-Truth will get his dub over John Cena, because he already lost his Saturday Night's main event. What sense does it make for him to lose again? Whether it's with CM Punk's help, just like in 2011, whether Cody comes to help, he gonna get that win. But then we gonna take a pause, just like we took a pause for Cody. We're gonna take a pause for R-Truth as well. And those pauses will resume at SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium, because we have 2 nights, y'all, and we need to buff up those cards. And so since we need to buff them up, that triple threat for that world title, because this is multi-man WWE, and we love multi-man matches at Mania, on our pre-shows, on our post-shows, everywhere. And so SummerSlam is where you see that triple threat. What do you got for your WWE title, man?
I didn't have a triple threat. I did have Cody versus Cena.
Okay.
And I would love for R-Truth or Ron Killings to be in the main event picture, and I believe he deserves to be there. I don't see him losing tomorrow either. I don't see him losing. I'm not sure how we're going to get there, but I would love to see Ron Killings be taken as a serious, not a schizophrenic character, as a serious character, acknowledging that, yeah, he did his thing, had to do what he had to do when, messing with Lil Jimmy and being aloof and this fun-loving character. But now that Ron Killings he's in control, he's driving. I would love to see him in that three-way dance. Unfortunately, with the WWE's record of dealing with certain talent, I just don't see that happening. I think he's gonna get some shine, but I think the Matt Hardy treatment back in the early 2000s when he left and they brought him back for the Edge storyline, history has a way of repeating itself. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen to that good brother, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But going back to the match that you asked about, I do see Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the title.
Okay, all right. And I mean, I think that's mainly where I was going, and until all this R-Truth stuff, and I wasn't even like professor and talk me on board that Truth probably does need to win this title just to clean some of the internet talk, which sadly, like, that's not where the discussion should stop after Truth wins the belt. It should stop. It should continue on. Cool, thanks. You gave him this world title, and it's been a while since we've had one, since I think Bobby Lashley during that time period when he was rivaling Brock Lesnar.
Right.
That's the last time we've had a black world champion in WWE. Like, outside, excluding NXT. I'm trying to exclude NXT. What are you doing for me next after this? What are you going to do for Javon Evans? What are you going to do for an Obafemi? What are you going to do to get them to this point and not treat them like a joke like we did Truth? Cool. Yeah, he's got a year. Some of my complaints about the Truth story are strictly about him and his personal like treatment, but also it's about the bigger picture of how we treat black talent as well. And so I'm hoping that he gets that serious role for himself, but I also hope that this helps. We can avoid this for others down the line, that people don't get trapped in these jester-like roles, that you got to be the town jester for WWE, that you got to be the clown, that you have to represent. That's how you are represented in front of America and in front of a global brand as the clown. We don't want to see that. We want to see our brothers and our sisters treated like top talent.
100%.
Speaking of our brothers and sisters being treated like top talent, that's why Naomi will be walking in to SummerSlam as the WWE Women's World Champion.
Walking in?
Walking in.
I like
because she's cashing in at Evolution, because you can't have too many cash-ins at WrestleMania with both men's and women. So you gotta spread them out. But Triple H also doesn't like having the gimmick of Money in the Bank for too long, because So what we gonna do with that is we just gonna expedite it. One at Evolution, one at SummerSlam. Seth SummerSlam, and we're gonna throw Naomi cashing in. Because why run this Nia and Tiffany match back again? The same way they kept running back Tiffany and Nia and Naomi for the WWE title right before Tiffany cashed it. They kept running that same match over and over again. Because what are you not doing in that match? Wasting a match. It's a match that's already had its own conclusion. You can run it back again. So run it back at Evolution, maybe with a different stipulation on it. Do that. Tiffany's tired. Oh, you tired? Looks like your time is up then. You didn't proceed with caution. Naomi gets that belt, and it's a two-prong attack. I need to get my get back on you, Tiffany, because you've been in my way for a long time. For too long. 2, Jade, you think you're about to get this belt? I'll be damned. And I think she even defeats Jade. I'm going that far with it too. Jade doesn't get that belt until later on. Naomi is here to be a stopgap. Because hey, you got me at Mania. I'm about to be petty now. You're not about to touch that belt. So what do you have for your women's WWE title? And what do you think of that?
I like that. The only hitch I have, or I won't even say a problem with it, is I think that Naomi's walking out SummerSlam with the title. She's cashing in at SummerSlam.
Oh.
And I think she's cashing in on Jade, because I think Jade is going to use her Queen of the Ring title, her opportunity at SummerSlam. And whoever the champion is at that point, I see Jade going over, and I see like a quick cash in where, you know, she beats Jade up, she jumps her from behind, and then she has the ref ring the bell, hit the finisher, 1, 2, 3, we got a new title. And she's walking out stealing the championship, even though everyone else does it, you know. I see Naomi winning that in Jersey.
As long as she walks out of Jersey with that belt, I'm gonna be good either way, man, because that is a big platform. And for when we went on big platforms, it does it even more. And so it's time to see her get that shine, and she has deserved it with the storyline, the being able to cry, Naomi, that is, on command. Man, I wish I would have. I think I recorded it, but I don't think it's like good audio. She cut this promo at Wale Mania. That was just nutty. It was crazy. It was just unfiltered, so she could just curse as she wanted to. Like, good. Like, just this woman has so much talent behind her. Like, she has made me a fan. And to think about how long she's been doing it in the company, it doesn't feel like she's been doing it that long.
Right.
But then we really reflect and think of the different phases and the different time periods. Her being a part of different NXT shows, and it's crazy she's been here for that long.
Bro,
I had to think stuff she's had to survive.
I had to think back. She was a Funkadactyl. I mean, she made me forget that she was a Funkadactyl. That's how good she is.
She was a part of one of my most hated WrestleMania entrances of all time, man. That mama entrance. I love my mama. Mr. T, I don't need to love my mama that much, and I don't need that somebody call my mama.
Yeah.
That I was just sick. I remember where I was when I saw that, and I was sick.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this ain't it. This ain't it.
Is this what we doing? Is this where we at, Black talent? We can't. We got Rock in the main event. Cool. But before we get there, we gotta shuck and jive, man. We can't have nothing to ourselves.
Nothing. I'm like,
boogly, man. Oh my god,
man.
But we will move on, and we're gonna move to the women's world title. Who you got for the women's world title, man? Or I keep leading the charge.
Go ahead. I'm debating between two people, and I want to hear what you got, and we'll just go from that way.
Where we had a storyline heavy entrenched match on SmackDown for the women's WWE title, I just want a sports match, and I want to be sports entertained. And so I have Stephanie Becerra going on to face Io Sky. I was there live when they did it the night after WrestleMania, and that was a good tease of it. I think we teased that for a reason, and I think that also what helped accelerate Stephanie's push to the main roster. I think she will be in a world title match at SummerSlam, and surprise, surprise, I think Stephanie's walking out with that belt over Io.
Oh, okay. But before I give you my pick, because I love that, we have a guest in the building.
Oh, we got a guest in the building?
We got a guest in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado.
Who that?
Super producer extraordinaire.
Who that?
Not one way. Not four way. We got two-way Ray in the building. Two-way Ray, what's happening, my dude?
What's good, man?
Y'all put me on the Summer Jam screen. I didn't know. I was gonna sit here in the background.
Oh my God, brother. My bad, brother. You more than welcome, man. We a guest in your house, so of course we gotta do right by you, brother. Happy Juneteenth to you.
Indeed.
Happy Juneteenth, y'all. Oh man.
But I think I did somebody a couple years ago when I was at work. I was like, Juneteenth. I thought I would be busting in on three of y'all. Yeah, I thought there was another special guest, but apparently I might have missed them.
I think their tire fell off on the route here, so we get roadside assistance. We got AAA on the way, so
it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Maybe they at the Juneteenth party.
At the fun.
You never know.
It is our day, so like we can take a little more time. We can be on CPT time, you know. But with that being said, we just talking about the main events, and we're talking about what we believe will be our 5 big matches for SummerSlam to wrap up the show before we head to the last segment of the show, as always. But we just talked about we're on the women's world title, and I'm talking about Stephanie Vaquer and Io being in the women's world title scene. And I was waiting to hear what Jay's answer was about to be for that.
I got you. Okay. Well, remember, I only had like a one-on-one match going into the men's world heavyweight title shot.
No, women's.
No, going into the men's, I had the one.
Oh, okay, my bad.
The women's one, I'm setting it up. That one's going to be a multi-person match, multi-woman match. So you're right. I think that Io is going to go against Stephanie Vaquer.
Okay.
Vaquer. That's how we call. But I also see her going against the other talent that just got called up. I see her going against Roxanne as well. And possibly, I'm not sure how we can get around to this, but I think it may end up being with Lyra Valkyrie as well too. And I say that only because Lyra is out of the picture for the Intercontinental title, and they put the belt on her. I thought was, for them to do that, they obviously see something in her. So I think getting her involved in that match, Roxanne, we know she is uber talented. And I think Stephanie Vaquer, again, another super talent versus an Io Sky as the general in the ring to keep the glue together. I'm not sure if she walks out with the title or how she walks out with the title. I just think that match to me would be super entertaining because you got the stars of tomorrow align with the stars of today. And that's going to be, something to watch. And I honestly think that should probably go on, if not last on the first night, then upper top on the second night, because that's going to be a banger of a match.
I like that. I like the highlighting of that newer talent and the fact that where I had Roxanne, I would love to see Roxanne in that way more than doing a tag team or a 6-man against the Bellas and whoever they need to gather on that side. So no, I really like that as a 4-way. And that night too, I don't understand what the issue behind being that second from the top match can be, second or third from the top match, because when we go over to UFC, that third from a top fight, that's a Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje, and that's the knockout of the decade, and that's just third, and we got 2 more matches to go, and the energy and the hypeness is still there for that, and those other 2 fights, different sport and whatnot, but I think the energy can still be there for those matches on the WWE card. And so
100% co-main event. Why not bill it as that? I mean, it is a top tier title, co-main event. That's all you have to rebrand it as, or even still the kickoff match, the first match of night 2. I mean, that's always one of those positions that they call it a curtain jerker and they mean it very disrespectfully. I don't look at it as that. I look at it as we're setting the tone of how tonight's going to go. Top that. So either way, I think it would be a privilege to get on the card, either the first match or even in one of those slots we were talking about, either second from the top or even top tier, because that is the respect you want to put on that title.
All right, man. I like that. Well, Ray, how about you? Do you have any? I know you just jumped on in. Do you have any ideas for the women's world title at SummerSlam?
I dig the multi-woman idea. I was kind of at first thinking, does Io make it to SummerSlam with the belt? Because she might be the one. I know a lot of people were kind of thinking, hey, Naomi could cash it in on Tiffany Stratton, but I'm like, Io's right there for the taking. Like, she had She has used the Money in the Bank before so that she could get a championship opportunity. And she actually had it taken away, not exactly Money in the Bank rules, but by the Royal Rumble winner. So I think that it's about time for Io. I love Io. I respect Io. I think it's about time for her to be done. But if she can always win it back. She won a belt back like after she lost to Bayley at WrestleMania a couple years ago. So she could always take the title back or get another women's title. I think right now this particular iteration of her reign should be coming to an end pretty soon. Not as soon as like a Jey Uso, which I had to think of. I was like, at least I thought the brother had at least 2 more weeks, at least. So if we're thinking about Io Sky remaining champion up into SummerSlam, then I could see that multi-women's match. I could see her, Vakur, Roxanne Perez, especially with Liv Morgan being out of the picture. I think I could see those 3 possibly. Yeah, in a triple threat match.
I like that. And that's probably where we get some type of evolution in that Liv, because she can be there in a sling, get a little evolution, because a year prior, I mean, not evolution the pay-per-view, but evolution in their storyline.
That's what I was like.
But where last year at SummerSlam, Dom turned on Rhea for Liv. Yeah. Well, maybe that year's up, and he said, like Leonardo DiCaprio, my timer is a year, my dog. He said, I gotta switch it up. I gotta move on to the next one.
These Doms ain't loyal.
These Doms ain't loyal. I like that. So we're gonna move on to my favorite, my love, Big Gold. Big Gold. I mean, I've already told y'all it's gonna be Gunther and Jey. Round 6. I know everybody ain't happy about it, but Seth is cashing in at the end, and he's walking away with the title. And I also have Gunther losing to Jey one more time, since Jey wants to rewrite history. Because Ray, I don't know if you heard it earlier, Gunther is a transitional champion because he's only here to protect Jey and Goldberg's babyface energy. That's the reason why he has that belt right now, because Jey and Goldberg would not be the Heat in Atlanta, Georgia. That's not a good retirement match. And so Gunther is only to hold this for a little while in between. And to tease, Seth is coming against Gunther. I still think it's just a tease, man. It's going to be Jey and Gunther one more time. And then he will then lead on to a triple threat against the 2 at Clash in the Castle. Seth, Gunther, Jey.
Gotcha.
But passing it on to Jey over here, I think you already kind of spoiled what your match is going to be too with our tournament wins earlier. So
I did.
Let the people know again.
I did. And I think it's going to be Sami Zayn in that role against Gunther with Seth cashing in. And then we're going to run it back overseas with those 3 plus Jey Uso on that one. So it's going to be a 4-way match. Because Jey hasn't gotten he's not going to get his rematch anytime in between that time. He's going to have his own personal conflict with Sami Zayn. So that's how I see that. I just don't see Jey in the heavyweight title picture for the time being. And I think he's going to, again, spur off, and he's going to have to do something with his brother Jimmy, which leads to the New Day. So truth be told, I'm not even sure if the Usos, both of them, make it to the SummerSlam card proper. The way they treat the tag team titles, I don't know.
At this day and age, would they get to the pre-show?
They might get to Raw the night after.
You got 2 nights of SummerSlam. You can't get the Usos a tag team title match on SummerSlam.
You still got the Street Profits you got to feed too.
They always get fed to SmackDown. If we gonna talk about TV, I hate to do it to the brothers. I've met them brothers. The brothers are great.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I think hopefully they do right by these brothers this time. Because I mean, they character-wise, they're very entertaining. Their in-ring has gotten much improved. I mean, they are in another level right now. They're kicking into another gear. I think they deserve to be on the pay-per-view or a PLE, and I believe they need to showcase that talent. I don't know how or why they've been off of those PLEs, but they need to do right by those bros.
If we are looking at an early start time in New Jersey for both nights, I say it's the Nano, my brother. Okay. And I only say the Nano because they need that darkness for that entrance. And we outside with
it. Right.
And as we say out here in Michigan, we on the lodge with it. So, which is one of our freeways. And that means you speed down that boy. But no, we on the lodge with it. It ain't going to happen that way. But I'd be curious to see if it can. We never know. Wrestling, they love to try to trick you with these matches and throw you throw off the internet, if you will. So, but Ray, where are you going with this? Where's Big Gold going?
Well, I do agree that Gunther is a transitional champion. I think that he loses the belt to the cash-in sooner than SummerSlam. I think he may even lose it there at Saturday night's main event. I think Goldberg will put up a fight. Gunther will take him, won't take him seriously, but then he'll find a way to win. But he's still weakened, you know. Of course, you got to spam about 35 spears, get like 2 jackhammers in which you don't drop the man on his head. And like maybe Gunther finds a way to slime out of that and then finds a way to choke Goldberg unconscious and then get the dub. But then I think Seth could come in and cash in on Saturday night's main event. So with that being said, and also
I like that.
I believe I heard that the draft will take place after SummerSlam. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I had saw some of that when I was looking at some of their pay-per-views coming up this year, just to kind of just get a feel of what's coming next for them. But I had seen that kind of get moved around because it was initially after Mania, and now it's pushed to after SummerSlam. We'll see. I mean, to me, no, just hold on. At this point, do some more. What do they call those? The transition portal. Or whatever they call it that time period. Do that again, swap some people around, call it a day. Like, don't make a big fuss about it because we're too close to Survivor Series at this point. And maybe you don't do brand warfare, but like brand warfare was so entertaining for a kid like me back then because I didn't have cable. So Raw was a whole nother world to me. And so it was just the SmackDown universe and having the mugs come over here finally. And grapple up with each other because we had 2-3 years where the majority of the roster stayed the same, besides maybe a couple of main eventers here or there.
Right.
I like that. And like, so we didn't do a big draft. We just did those little trade considerations. Do a little bit more. Do a bigger draft next year after WrestleMania.
Oh, that's a long time. So they're going to be waiting like a year and a half, 2 years between drafts. Yeah, I think from what I heard, they're planning on doing it to coincide with the season premiere for a show that never goes off the air. It always comes on every week. But if they are still considering having the draft after SummerSlam, I think, especially on a SummerSlam, which is one of the big four, you gotta make that particular match big. And no disrespect, Seth versus Gunther versus Jey versus Sammy or whatever iteration of those, it doesn't feel big. You know what? Who does feel big and who can go towards any brand and who hasn't been to work in a while.
Uh-oh. Oh, Roman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait a minute. Oh,
I saw where you were going with that. I saw, and I don't disagree with it. You onto something, Ray. I don't disagree with that. You're right, but you have to make these people feel like superstars. To your point, and the way to do that, you have to, make them believable characters and give them those wins and those compelling stories to tell you that, hey, Jey Uso's world title run was not a fluke. Gunther getting the title, back and defending it successfully, not a fluke. Sammy getting to where he's at, not a fluke. It's his turn, it's his time. But the gatekeeper at this one is Seth Rollins. He's the pro. He's the vet. He's the hungry vet that needs that world title. He doesn't want it. He needs it. Right. And so building up to that would be the great thing. But you're right. I didn't consider Roman Reigns to be a part of that. But then again, Roman is typically on isn't he on is he a SmackDown guy?
Usually, but again, if you're thinking about swap, and plus, are you really? Because without spoiling, because we haven't gotten to the undisputed WWE title match, but I don't think that Roman is going to be fitting into those particular plans. And you already have the heat between Roman and Seth and the Wise Man. So I think that it will work better for Roman to be on the Raw side again, especially if you're considering that the draft might happen right after and that Raw might end up taking Roman anyway. So that might be it. And I can see what you're saying about telling these stories. The only thing is, why are you starting telling these stories now? Like when SummerSlam is like a month and a half, 2 months out, you should have been telling these stories already if you wanted to build these folks up, not hot-shotting them up to the top. And now, although the people are already pretty behind Sammy and pretty behind Jey as well, if you wanted to tell these stories, you should have started way before.
I think they've already put some seeds in there. Like you saw when Jey first won the title, you saw the look when they were in the ring, all of them together, Jimmy, Sammy, Jey. Jey's on the turnbuckle. And it's like, oh, are they gonna do it? They teased it, but they didn't. It's like, okay, just put a pin right there. We have something to go back to recall, to tell that story. So I think they're giving you little breadcrumbs saying, okay, we could go this direction, but we're not right now. So I think they're giving us little seeds to plant into the psyche, just to be like, okay, we got something to go back to just in case we decide we want to make this this full turn. So we'll see.
I'll say, look at what Karrion's been doing with Sammy. That's been planting those seeds. And then I'd say the Jey thing goes back even further. Jey has been built up for this, that once he won the Rumble, even pre-Rumble, after that Saturday night's main event, I thought it felt so weird for him to be on that desk with Quavo. And he's over here, I needed this. I know I could beat him, y'all. I know I can beat him. I know I can do this. They've been trying to build this self-confidence story in Jey Uso since he literally could barely look at Roman in the face in 2020 when it came to him facing him for the Universal title and him having to build up his voice in that match through the bloodline storyline, through his best friend supporting him, having his back, encouraging him, and now having to, in the finals of this tournament, one of them have to go forward and one of them doesn't. Yeah, oh, you my bro. No matter what, it ain't gonna change. It's gonna change because it's gold on the line. Dang, I did it the wrong way. That right there, that means more for the family. They both got kids. They both got checks they trying to collect. It's for legacy. They both need it. And Sammy ain't had it. And Jaden had a bite. He won more. They could be doing better ways of building their time. Sometimes I feel like some of us are building the stories a little bit stronger for them with their content. But at the same time, I love the 4-way idea, and if there's ever a time I'm glad to be wrong, it's with that, because all 4 brothers get that shine in that match, and I love that. So,
indeed.
But spoiler alert, Ray, we already actually got to the WWE Undisputed Belt, and so we are going to let this window open for you as a review. I stated a triple threat with I was going to say Shawn Michaels. What in the world? Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, R-Truth, and John Cena for the Undisputed title.
Oh, okay.
Jay, you had?
I had Cody Rhodes and John Cena 1-on-1 for the heavyweight championship. Or Universal Championship, whatever you want to call it.
The mustard belt.
Outside with Jay, I think it's going to be a 1-on-1 affair. I think you kind of mentioned a theory on the NWA podcast this past Sunday, Jay, that I could see that triple threat happening, or, well, I can't see that particular triple threat happening because CM Punk's going to be involved. I can see the triple threat between Punk, R-Truth, and John Cena happening, but I don't see. I mean, it depends on if the crowd reactions and the crowd love is consistent for Truth throughout everything, throughout Night of Champions and throughout. And yeah, he's supposed to face John Cena again tomorrow, but we don't know if it's a title match. I haven't heard anything. Have you guys anything? So we still don't know if it's a title match or if it's a non-title match. So we'll see. But I think, I mean, and I would love to have R-Truth, especially considering the last 1-on-1 match between John Cena and Cody Rhodes was not up to par. I could see them sliding R-Truth in there, but conventional wisdom tells me that it's just going to be Cody Cena 2. Now, I think I would love for R-Truth to come out and beat down Travis Scott. If Travis Scott tries to get his hands on somebody again, I would love for Truth to come down and handle him. But as far as him being an actual part of the match, I think it's probably like maybe a 40-45% chance. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think, but I side on conventional wisdom.
Okay, I'm mad at that. The professor inspired my triple threat, and so otherwise I'd be with you all that it's just gonna be a straight match personally. But now that leads us to the last match of SummerSlam, our special match, because at every SummerSlam you can always find that non-title match that kind of has that special flair to it. And so for myself, brothers, I think somebody is correct about an individual that will be here, but I think it'll be him versus his brother in arms, Seth Rollins, 1v1 at SummerSlam. What night? Couldn't tell you, but one of them nights.
I like that. I like that. I went with another match, not for a heavyweight championship or anything like that, but I am clamoring to see Solo versus Jacob Fatu. That's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see the street champ, the one that was in NXT, the athleticism that he showcased, along with the new attitude that he's got now, where he's showing his personality a bit, versus Jacob Fatu. And I want to see a clean one-on-one match. I know there's still going to be somebody from either the Tongan side or the bloodline side that interfere, and they're going to showcase someone that they signed. That's just how they do now, But
could be short, could be tall. Who knows?
It could be somebody returning from injury, perhaps. So I would like to see that. But I think I would love to see that match, and I'm gonna say Solo goes over because I think they've got some big plans for Jacob Fatu.
Yes, I expressed those same sentiments on the NWA podcast. And yes, that was my main match that I had. That was number one, but solid number two. They're definitely building towards Becky and Bayley for the Intercontinental Championship. So I would really love to see that. Low key, well, not so low key, because a lot of people agree. Like the last two matches that Becky and Lyra Valkyria had were respectively the best matches on their respective pay-per-views. So I think they had a lot of chemistry together, and I think that goes double for Becky and Bayley since they've known each other for so long, with them being the two of the four horsewomen. So I could see those two having a banger match on either night.
All right, I like that. And then to give them that spotlight, especially when you take Bayley away from Mania, I like that as an idea to give them that bigger spotlight at SummerSlam. So, and it's well deserved for a Bayley for sure. So
Indeed.
Theme song because she need a new one.
Please.
She was at the Sami Zayn and Friends show. She was like, I can't get jiggy to this song. Like, I can't dance to this. I'm like, yeah, I can't get jiggy to this. Like, what is this?
She's not wrong.
And real quick, I know you guys got a strict schedule. I don't want to throw y'all too much, but you mentioned the theme songs, and Jordan Grace had a new theme song, and it's been widely and universally panned. So what's going on with Def Rebel, man? Are they going to get them up out the pain or no?
I hope so. It's been long overdue. Like, I love that we are trying to do that workaround for those CFO songs. And so, like, what you hear with Asuka's theme song when she came out on Monday, that's very close to her NXT theme. Like, there's probably only some small changes to the audio, but that is her NXT theme. Same with Aleister Black. I like the fact that they're doing that.
Yeah.
But where's your original work? Yeah. Like, where, because like your profile, like your wins versus losses in those songs, they're not there, Def Rebel. Y'all got a couple, and that's it. So, like, y'all got to go. I'm sorry. You are no longer ranked as a contender. You got to go. You ain't here. Bounce. Sorry. I have no other words for Def Rebel.
I don't want to see, or I don't like people, losing their jobs, but they should be under somebody else's, watch. In terms of, hey, what do you think this sound like? I'm like, this ain't the one. You know what I mean? So
right.
Ever since they lost Jim Johnson, that was the downfall right there. Then they brought in CFOs, but they were doing some work. CFOs was putting in some work.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of them for whatever reason and got this group here, and they're just not delivering, Man, there's some mainstream artists that said, hey, look, I will go ahead and donate my talents to write some of these intro music to these superstars. So I would, if I was TKO, I would gladly take them up on that offer, because I mean, if you got somebody like a Mustard saying, hey, look, I will give you one of my beats to whoever, please make that happen. I mean, because intro music sets the tone of the energy that's supposed to be in the building.
And I think there was a tweet. What's his name? If Metro Boomin was going back and forth with R-Truth, it was like, I'll make that new theme if you want me to, dog. And R-Truth was like, I appreciate it, but I love what's up, but I appreciate it. Maybe we could collaborate. And Metro was like, oh, bet. Just let me know where to go. So I would love to see that collaboration. And I guess somebody who's profiting like on the outside, not like really in the room, but someone who's profiting from the outside is Downstate. They've been making themes for independent stars. Like I think they did one for Indy Hartwell. They're doing one for Duke Hudson, the formerly Duke Hudson. So they still making money. Maybe they can hire them back, because they used to have some bangers when they were doing some stuff for WWE as well. So
Adrenaline in my soul.
Whoa.
Something Cody Rhodes. Are they not the ones that made that song?
Yeah, they did it. Yeah,
okay. I swear they're the ones.
Yeah, they did.
Song.
Yeah, they did.
Don't let me be the one.
Yeah.
Don't let me quote the wrong song.
I got you.
Appreciate it. But hey, we here to wrap up, and so with this month, we're here to talk about the Three Musketeers. You might have heard it as the Big Three, but hey, that's what we doing this month. And so to kick that off, Ray, who do you got for your winner of the month? Oh, I'm sorry, I do be doing you like that. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. Well, man, dang, I wish, and I know you always go to this. I always forget to think about it until the last minute. Winner of the you know what? I think it's probably going to be unanimous unless you guys have like other people genuinely in mind. Ron Killings. He might. I don't know if he might be like all three. So he might be the winner, the loser, and the okay.
I agree. I see where you're going with this.
But yeah, I see him definitely as the winner, especially with him having a new deal and under his real name, so he can make money through his real name. So, and I think with this change of character, I think it's a big deal. So I'm gonna say true.
Okay. Who you got? Who you have for your loser?
Oh, I gotta do all three. I thought we were gonna go around.
Well, you want to spin around? We can spin around like that. So
yeah, let me think about it.
Ray, who do you got for your winner then, man?
You mean Jey?
Jey, I'll go next.
Oh my God, just say Ray.
Girard.
No, I'm just now like everybody look the same. Now everybody look the same. Now don't
Exactly, but I gotta go with Ray on this one. Ron Killings is the winner this month for me. From being unemployed for a hot minute to getting, having all that leverage, and again, it's been beat to death. But again, his story in terms of the meaning that he brings to the locker room, the love that he was getting, the outpour of love and respect from not only the crowds in attendance, but the people online for him to get his job back and then go by his real name and be able to, carry on and get a good contract and be inserted almost instantly into the main event scene. Man, he know what he's doing, so I got to give it to him as the winner of this month.
I like that.
So what say you?
I'm gonna be a cheater. I'm picking two people because I just cannot not highlight either of these people.
And I know where you're going too.
That's our sister in Christ, Naomi.
Hey,
Miss Money in the Bank did her thing, indeed. Won that briefcase. Did her. I cannot. Oh, on her fifth match, and people crying about LA Knight can't make it off his third. He gonna be fine because the sister had to do it off of 5. So if the sister could do it and she didn't work that hard, LA, you got 2 more to go, brother. You'll survive. Naomi doing her thing and building herself up in this main event role in a new way as a heel, but also she has lost too many world title matches, and to me, this is almost telling me hook, line, and sinker. She getting that belt. It's only a matter of when, not if. Mm-hmm. And so I gotta shout out Naomi, and of course I'm gonna shout out Truth, because 2 things I walked out of Money in the Bank with a smile on my face about was for sure Truth being back, and Naomi with that briefcase. Wasn't no better way I could say, hey, I'm good with all this. So those are my 2 winners of this month for sure. But now, Ray, we're gonna swing back to you in the roundabout. Who you got for the loser of the month?
All right, so my loser, boo this man. Yeah, I know if y'all wanted me on the production stick, so I just did what I can vocally. I'm going to piggyback off you. I'm gonna take that idea of 2 losers, and I'm slipping for 2 losers. One of which we already talked about, Def Rebel. You're not Def Leppard. You're awful. You're disgusted. You're bad. You suck. Definitely. All right. So Def Rebel, and then the other one, good old Paul. All of Vec, Triple H. You had a terrible month, brother. Like, not only did it come out that you were the one to pretty much send the axe, and it wasn't necessarily about it's the pencil pushers, it's the bean counters. Like, no, it came out that you were the one that sent the hit out on good old Ron, and then when they come back and turn on you, you're like, oh, you're watching the show. You're loving the show. It's a part of the show. No, stop it. And then you had the nerve to, I think it's some stuff that came out with MVP, some more stuff with MVP that came out about his style, about Triple H's style of running things, and how it's not conducive to folks of color because he don't see it color. And then to top it all off, you got the nerve to take pictures with doggone RFK Jr. I know he's your mother-in-law's colleague, but brother, you ain't got to be all smiling like that in the photo. You could have been in the back like Stephanie. It ain't your mama, it's Stephanie's mama. Stephanie could have took the picture. So yeah, all of that, to kind of circle in and hone on Triple H as being the loser of the month for me.
I like that, especially giving Paul his flowers when he needs them.
Yes, yeah,
for sure.
Giving Paul his flowers at his burial. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we give him credit when he does great stuff, but like the creative has been lacking as of late, and then all of this other stuff that's been behind it. Yeah. We got to put not the final nail in the coffin, but yeah, we got to at least put the flowers on your chest as you lay there prone. So. Maybe he might come back to life. Who knows?
Talk about it.
We're gonna close that casket in a little bit, so get your last. But with that being said, Jay, who do you have for your loser?
This is gonna be unpopular, but I don't care. Jey Uso. I think the Yeet era is just about over. I think it's seen better days. It's seen its best days, and they are behind him. You know, so I got 4 letters, 1 word. Done. It's a wrap. I think it's a wrap. I think he's gonna wind down, and he's a good guy by all accounts. I just don't. I think the experiment was a failed experiment, and it's not even his fault for the most part. So, loser of the month. I wish him well, but I just don't think. I'm sure he'll be back on top pretty soon, but today's not his day. Last month was not his month. Jey Uso.
That's tough. Mine, I don't think I'm going in the same direction for my loser, but, and I don't mean it and I also don't mean this in a vicious way. I just think that they have taken an L this month, and that's Liv Morgan. I think at this time period, moving into where we were going into, with Evolution on the horizon, yeah, she might be able to still be on the mic. She might be able to still be in attendance for those shows. But as somebody who has been honestly improving her work in ring, out of the ring, acting skills, she's been an improvement overall. And so these 2 big periods, you won the women's world title, tag titles at WrestleMania. That wasn't that. It's something, but it wasn't the biggest thing. And so like to have a feud with the Bellas, that's a more profiled and story built feud for you, also with the Judgment Day stuff going on in the background, which is going to make you most likely a bigger baby face. I think this was just an unforeseen and a sad setback for Liv Morgan, and so loser of the month, sadly. But with that, Ray, who is your
Well, it's kind of contrary to how most people have been feeling about this particular gentleman and his his colleagues, his comrades, those who ride with him, if you will. I'm gonna go with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, you've been all right over the last month. You've been all right. You haven't been too bad. Great match that they had at Anarchy in the arena. Good stuff that he's been doing. I don't know if it was this past month, but good stuff that he's been doing with Samoa Joe. So and he hasn't been overbearing and so not reckless, but kind of like out there with his promos, like with the riddles, like speaking in riddles. So yeah, I think he's been kind of more straightforward. And it's kind of been a little bit more palatable, especially seeing as though now it seems like the Death Riders and he have kind of met their match with the Ops, joining forces with Ospreay, joining forces with Swerve, joining forces with Hangman. So I think he's been doing a decent job. And I think all of the Death Riders have been doing a decent job. Treading water, not too bad. So, yeah, not too bad. Not pretty good. Pretty
good. I like that choice. I like that. Well, I rock with you on the Death Riders part. I don't know about the John part. But, that's why that's your eye of the month. But Jay, who you got for the eye of the month?
The eye, I gotta go with New Day.
Oh.
They all right. I mean, I can't really say anything bad about them. The good part is they're entertaining on commentary. Yeah. I mean, Kofi's missing mustache. I mean, that's not good. But I do have to say, like the backstage segments that they're doing with Kathy Kelly, really entertaining. But they're not wrestling and they're not defending their belts. And I'm glad they're getting a paycheck, man. And that's all I can say is just that they're all right. So there it is, New Day, and it pains me. I like those dudes, you know. So
contract year at that.
Yeah.
And the silky cosplay. Beautiful.
They're making the most out of their TV time. I give them that. You know what I mean? And that's why I just have to say it's all right. But I mean, how many times are we gonna see them versus War Raiders? How many times are we gonna see them against Finn and JD? It's just all right, you know. And I'm glad they're gainfully employed. That's it.
I'll be curious to see what happens with those brothers next, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think there's a method to that madness, some reason why they're not being showcased. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them.
All right. My eye of the month is AJ Styles. Because last month we was losing. No, it was last month. It was 2 months ago. We was losing to Logan Paul. And we've been kind of quietly building ourselves back up here and there. We lost to El Grande in the qualifier for Money in the Bank. We, as an AJ Styles fan, it's been some tough years. And it's just, I don't know. I think he'll get one maybe serious main event push looking forward, but like this is not what I would want to see from my AJ Styles. I hate to liken it to this because I don't really have a good Raw example on the other end, but like AJ should be like a Benoit. He should be reigning over that mid-card belt. And like, yeah, the new up-and-comer breaking through to get the belt from him is something. But he should be putting on match, classic. And that's if he can, which I'm not trying to spit on the man, but he getting older. Father Time is undefeated against all. But I need to see more from my man AJ Styles. As my favorite Republican, I need a little bit more from him on the screen and storyline wise. So,
and real quick, that was I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that was kind of his role during the pandemic. Although a lot of people are like, well, I don't remember them pandemic shows, but AJ Styles had that IC title, and he was putting on tremendous matches, especially if people haven't seen it. I think it was No Mercy, triple threat between AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, and Jeff Hardy. Terrific match. Amazing match. In the Thunderdome, but amazing.
Did Sami win in the end?
I think he might have won because he
handcuffed ladder match where he handcuffed Jeff's ear and won, and then he handcuffed it to AJ's hand.
I think
and
so.
then he climbed over both of them.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I forgot about that. You jogging my memory about that pandemic stuff. So yeah, I need to see AJ just, if he's not gonna be in the world title, I needed him just to do more prominent stuff. You have AJ Styles on your roster.
Right.
Use my mans, please. Just please. He was doing more with Omos, I felt like, in that tag team than he is right now. I need to see more from my mans. Please and thank you. Indeed. But with that being said, that is the end of Ring Theory this month. We'll be back next month for sure, talking about a deeper dive of that all-in coverage. Like I talked about, a possible guest. Hopefully, we'll make sure to have that AAA limousine service on the way to get them here to the studio. Better next time. But with that being said, folks, thank you for tuning in. Remember, we are on the drive to 500, and that means we need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need you to lock in on that Patreon. $5, better than a biggie bag, easier than a biggie bag, all inclusive. Come on into the party. Come on into the network. We here to ride. And so with that being said, Ray, any last words for you?
Real quick, I appreciate you guys having me on. Folks, don't forget, right after this, stick around because we're going to be doing Game 6, Juneteenth edition of the NBA Finals watch along with myself and some special guests. And Brother Nate is probably going to wander in. He'd be taking naps on me and then waking up and be like, oh, I got to get on. But so stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Go ahead, hop on into the next expected stream, and we're going to have ourselves a good time. We're going to be talking, of course, about the finals, but also some big news happening in the NBA as far as the Lakers being the majority stake being sold, and whispers of John Morant being traded from the Grizzlies. So a lot of stuff to talk about in the world of the NBA, in addition to possibly a new champion being crowned tonight. So go ahead and join us here. And as Brother Girard said, go ahead. It's free for the YouTube. It's free. It don't cost you nothing to subscribe. But if you want to contribute some cash, just a little bit, go ahead at patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network.
My man Jay, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
What you got for us?
Yes, sir. The drive for 500 is definitely on deck. We are trying to build up, the network. So yeah, every little bit counts. So please, if you have not subscribed already, do yourself a favor. Do so. $5. That's all. A month. That's a cup of coffee. You can do that. Right. So you can catch me on the Nefarious Media Network as well too, with the NWA podcast, with the Parlay, right here with Ring Theory next time. With my tag team partner and my brothers over here. So yeah, so it's been a pleasure. And catch me on my socials, Jarek_wins, IG. You can catch me on the Twitter as well too. So that's all I got, guys.
All right. And for myself, Girard Brown, Downtown Brown. You can catch me at Brown first to his name. Yes, I went on a House of Dragons kick. I was just like, hey, Brown first to his name. I love the sound of it. Let's ride. You can find me on IG there. You can find me on X. It's Twitter. It's the better name. It'll always be Twitter. You can find me on Blue Sky, and you can find me, most importantly, right here on the Nefarious Media Network. Hit that bell notification so that way when we go live on these streams, you know what it is on YouTube. Hey, drop a comment below about United Champions win. Drop a comment below about what you think will happen at SummerSlam for one of those main title matches. Am I going to be pissed off that Mox is walking out of Globe Life with that title? Drop it all below and let us know. But see you on the other time. See you on the next rhyme. This is Ring Theory, y'all. Peace and chicken grease.
I gotta hit that button.
That's real.